Right friends, welcome back to lecture part. This is the 42nd week from 12th to 18th October. We are going to discuss important events of the week, and if you go into the highlights, the historic and at the same time one of the most controversial judgments in recent times, that is Supreme Court Constitution Bench squashing NJAC and 99th Constitutional Amendment. Supreme Court said NJAC as unconstitutional and void. Next important aspect is President visited Palestine and Israel. Last week we discussed his visit to Jordan. We are going to throw some light on his visit to Palestine and Israel. Then Supreme Court allows Aadhaar for social welfare schemes. Then Hand in Hand 2015 and Malabar 2015. India has done some balancing act with China and United States of America and Japan on the other side. We are going to discuss what is Hand in Hand 2015 and what is Malabar 2015. Look at the next one. Telecom companies required to pay ₹1 per each call drop with the maximum limit of 3 rupees a day when call drops occur. Then the subcommittee of Niti Aayog gave the recommendations with regard to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and rupees 15,000 is recommended for construction of toilet in urban and rural areas. MH17 disaster, all of you are well aware. Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, the flight was hit by missile when it was flying over eastern Ukraine, and report says that Russian made Buk missile is responsible for it, and it's going to widen tensions between West and Russia further. Then Science Express 16 coach AC Express with 3 coaches powered by solar energy was flagged off by 3 union ministers, Javadekar, Suresh Prabhu and Harshvardhan from Safdarjung railway station, that is Climate Action Special. Then Man Booker Prize has gone to Jamaican author, and he is the first Jamaican to win the Man Booker Prize. Right friends, look into the first issue. The most important issue is National Judicial Appointments Commission was struck down by the Supreme Court, stating that National Judicial Appointments Commission as well as Constitution 99th Amendment are unconstitutional and void. It is against the basic structure of the Constitution, which devised separate powers for judiciary, executive and legislature. And before going into the judgment, let us go back to the Constitution. Constitution is not clear about how the judges for High Court and Supreme Court are to be appointed. The constitutional provisions are vague in this regard. And if you want much more in detail, please listen to this week's news analysis. I am limiting my discussion here up to the extent possible, which will fit into the lecture part, right? So the Constitution is not clear about the ways how the Supreme Court and High Court judges will be appointed. And meanwhile, the Supreme Court devised one system from the year 1993, popularly known as the Collegium system. Collegium system was devised by Supreme Court itself. It is not part of the Constitution, and it devised a system in the year 1993, and for the past 22 years Collegium system is in operation, and the judges for High Courts and Supreme Court are appointed based on the recommendations of Chief Justice of Supreme Court and 4 senior judges of Supreme Court. This is called collegium that will recommend for appointment. That means this is nothing but judges appointing judges. Right? This system is in vogue since 1993, and so far nobody is able to question it because of the vagueness in the constitution, right? Subsequently, in the year 2014, government tried to correct that. In the government's words I am talking about, judiciary is totally against its correction. Judiciary says that executive should not interfere in the affairs of judiciary. That's why executive cannot devise any system which will involve entering executive into picture for appointment of the judges, right? So, under these circumstances, government has taken a step ahead in the year 2014 and simultaneously National Judicial Appointments Commission, NJAC Act, National Judicial Appointments Commission Act, or popularly known as NJAC Act, as well as 99th Amendment to the Constitution. You may ask, what is the need for these two? Because in the Constitution, the provisions are vague. That's why with the amendment to the Constitution through 99th Constitution Amendment Act, certain clauses are added in the Constitution. That's why Constitution Amendment is required. To add certain clauses in the Constitution for appointment of judges, this Constitution Amendment Act was required. It was passed by Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, subsequently state legislatures, majority of the state legislatures were also ratified, and simultaneously National Judicial Appointments Commission Act was also passed by Parliament, and NJAC constitutes 6 members. Judiciary will be 3 members, civil society will be 3 members. You can call civil society, political, whatever it is. So, judiciary will be 3 members. Here Chief Justice of India will be the chairperson, ex officio. What is the meaning of ex officio? Because of its position, he will hold that. Whoever the Chief Justice, he will be the chairperson of NJAC. It is not by name, it is by designation. That means, whoever holds Chief Justice, he will act as chairperson. That's why it is called ex officio. Similarly, 2 other senior judges of Supreme Court will become members. They are also ex officio, right? So, 3 members including chairperson will be from judiciary, and other 3 members, if you look at it, there will be union minister in charge of law and justice and 2 eminent persons to be appointed by a committee consisting of the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice of India, and leader of the opposition party or the largest political party leader. If there is no opposition party, then instead of a leader of opposition, the leader of the largest political party will take part in the committee. So, these 3 members, that is leader of opposition, Prime Minister, CJI, will appoint 2 eminent persons, and these 2 eminent persons will be for a period of 3 years. And other clause is, any 2 members can say no to the proposal. If 2 members say no, that proposal cannot move ahead, right? So, these 6 members are part of National Judicial Appointments Commission. So, with the passage of National Judicial Appointments Commission, the prerogative of judges, appointing judges has gone. Now, the Supreme Court struck down this. Supreme Court Constitution Bench. Constitution Bench means minimum 5 judges will be there. These are the judges who participated in giving this judgment, and Justice J.S. Kehar is the presiding judge, and they gave the decision with 4-1. That means Jasti Chalameshwar, one of the judge, dissented it, and the remaining 4 on one side, and they struck down this with the basic reason National Judicial Appointments Commission basically violates the basic structure of the Constitution. In their point of view, the basic structure of the Constitution is a separation of judiciary, executive, legislature. As the Union Minister of Law and Justice is a part of this committee, they felt that it is interference of executive in the affairs of judiciary. That's why it is against the basic structure of the Constitution as felt by the majority judgment headed by Justice Kehar. Right? Lot of discussion is going on. The viewpoint supporting judiciary is right in their perspective because it violates the basic structure of the Constitution, which separates the 3 wings. But the other viewpoint is judges appointing judges is not the right thing, and the NJAC tried to correct the anomaly of giving equal membership to both the judiciary and non-judiciary. That means the monopoly of judiciary in appointing judges is to be corrected. That is the view towards executive side. Whatever the view here, it stands today. It led to lot of controversies. If you want more, please listen to news analysis and features of this week. We are going to discuss in detail about the repercussions of this National Judicial Appointments Commission, which was struck down by the Supreme Court Constitution Bench. Right friends, let us move on to the next issue. President visited Palestine and Israel. President previous week visited Jordan, and in his 3-nation tour, he visited Palestine. Palestine and Israel are at loggerheads, and under these circumstances, the visit of the president of the country to both the countries assumed significance. And if you look at the visit to Palestine, during his visit by the president, both the countries announced 5 projects worth around $18 million, which include $12 million Technopark and $1 million India-Palestine Center for Excellence. At the same time, the president visited Yasser Arafat Mausoleum. At the same time, he was honored by Al-Quds University and hailed as a Knight of Peace. And the president stated that it will support the resolution for the formation of a Palestinian state, and there is no change in the stand of India with regard to the position of Palestine. And immediately the president visited Israel, and in Israel the president says religion cannot be the basis of the state. And at the same time, both the countries signed double taxation avoidance agreement as well as for cultural exchange. And the president called for enhanced cooperation between India and Israel in agriculture, defense and technology, and the president was honored with the doctorate at the Hebrew University, right? So this is about visit to both the countries. And look into the next issue, that is Supreme Court allows Aadhaar for social welfare schemes. If you go back, why Supreme Court is restricting the use of Aadhaar? Before going into it, let us go back to August 11 order given by 3-judge bench. On August 11, 3-judge bench gave an order restricting the use of Aadhaar. They permitted use of Aadhaar only for LPG and public distribution system. And now the Constitution Bench of Supreme Court, headed by Chief Justice of the country, H.L. Dattu, agreed for extending the usage of Aadhaar for 4 more schemes. Previously, LPG and public distribution system. Now they allowed it for 4 more schemes. They are Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Mahatma Gandhi Narega, then pension schemes and provident fund schemes. They extended it for these 4 schemes, and they put 2 conditions also. If anyone is not willing to take Aadhaar, he should not be forced. Second thing is, government benefits should be given to the persons uniformly across the country, whether they have Aadhaar or not. Nobody should be denied the benefit if there is no Aadhaar for that person. Persons who do not have Aadhaar, they also should be given all the benefits uniformly across the country. That's what Supreme Court want to say. And why there is lot of hue and cry about this? Because there are petitions against Aadhaar that it violates the privacy of the individuals. And now Supreme Court is to decide whether it really violates privacy. And second point is whether privacy is the fundamental right or not. These things are to be decided by the Supreme Court, and as an interim measure, the Constitution Bench allowed extension of Aadhaar for 4 more schemes. Government says we are using it for identity, and some of the groups says it violates privacy. And now it is the duty of the Supreme Court to decide this way or that way, right? Look into the next one. Important cabinet decisions, rupees 2,904 crore revised multimodal Kaladan project was cleared. This multimodal Kaladan project, this is basically intended to connect the northeastern region of the country. And all of you are well aware, please look into this picture. If someone wants to go from Calcutta to Mizoram, he has to travel through Siliguri, which is known as the Chicken's Neck. The region around Siliguri in West Bengal is known as the Chicken's Neck because you have to travel all the way from Kolkata through that Chicken's Neck to go to northeastern states because Bangladesh was separated from India. That is the reason. And so connection to northeast, we are facing so many difficulties because of long road journey to northeast. So as a viable alternative to this, government contemplated this Kaladan project long back, but somehow it could not take on expected lines. Now the cabinet cleared this 2,904 crore multimodal Kaladan transport, and it basically connects the northeast of the country. Please look into this picture. From Calcutta, by sea route, it will go to Sitwe port. Sitwe port is situated in Myanmar. Subsequently, 158 kilometers through river Kaladan, and subsequently by road another 129 kilometers will take you to Mizoram. That means partly sea route, partly river route, partly by road. That's why it is called multimodal. Now, government wants to implement it as a fast track project, and cabinet cleared this revised cost of 2,904 crores of this Kaladan project. We will discuss more about this Kaladan project next week in the news analysis, right? And at the same time, cabinet approved 7,000 rupees crore special banking arrangement for fertilizer subsidy to the fertilizer companies. There is lot of fertilizer subsidy borne by fertilizer companies first. Government sometimes delay in paying back, and now special banking arrangement of 7,000 crores was approved by the Union Cabinet. Third one is for the stalled highway projects, one-time fund infusion was also cleared by the Cabinet. Look into the next one, India's Balancing Act. On one side, joint counter-terror drills by Indian Army with the Chinese troops. Naga regiment is taking part, that is called Hand in Hand 2015, and on the other side, joint naval exercises are going on between India, United States of America and Japan. And these joint naval exercises are called Malabar 2015. Between India and USA, they started somewhere around 1992, but now Japan is also included. From this year onwards, it will be a regular feature for these three countries to participate in joint naval exercises, and the name given is Malabar 2015, and they are held in Bay of Bengal. And that means one side it is joint anti-terror operations, or you can say joint counter-terror drills with China. Hand in Hand 2015, they were held in Kunming city in China, and here in Bay of Bengal between these three countries, India, US and Japan, this Malabar 2015 were held. Right friends, look into the next issue, that is telecom companies required to pay ₹1 per each call drop. Call drop became the biggest menace of telecom companies nowadays. When you are speaking over phone, suddenly call gets disconnected. That is call drop. So recently TRAI gave an order that telecom companies have to pay ₹1 per each call drop and not exceeding ₹3 per day. That means if call drops occur continuously, they will compensate for a maximum of 3 call drops a day. And overall, TRAI expressed its dissatisfaction over the call drops in the country. Even Prime Minister expressed his dissatisfaction long back. And please don't forget, at the same time, telcos can be fined up to ₹2 lakhs when the total call drops exceed 2% in any quarter, right? So these are the stringent regulations put by TRAI. ₹15,000 for construction of toilet in urban and rural areas. This is the recommendation of a subcommittee on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. There are several subcommittees under Niti Aayog. One such subcommittee, all of you are well aware, headed by Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister with regard to rationalization of subsidies. Another subcommittee, that is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan subcommittee, is headed by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, and he recommended certain measures. One of them is he suggested 15,000 crore assistance for construction of toilets in both urban and rural areas, and also suggested this Swachh Bharat cess to be levied by the central government. All of you are well aware about coal cess. All of you are well aware about road cess. Like that, he recommended the Swachh Bharat cess to be levied by central government on various items including petrol, diesel and telecom services. Another important point is dedicated mission for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan at national and state levels is required, and he recommended this subsidy on chemical fertilizers should be reduced and subsidy on compost should be raised because it is biofertilizer. That means to discourage the use of chemical fertilizers and to increase the use of compost, he recommended raising subsidy on compost. And incentives such as Swachh Bharat grading was also suggested by the committee headed by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister. Right friends, look into the next one. Around the world, if you look at MH17 disaster, Russian made Buk missile is responsible. Last year, during July, to be specifically 17th July 2014, a flight coming from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur went missing over the airspace of eastern Ukraine. You may ask, where is Ukraine? Please look into this picture. The flight left Amsterdam in Netherlands. It is supposed to reach Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, but when it was flying over the airspace of eastern Ukraine, then it was hit by missile, that Buk missile that hit the aeroplane, and all the passengers lost their lives. And this is as per the report of Dutch Safety Board. And after this report, Ukraine and Western countries says that Russian-backed rebels brought down the plane, whereas Russia blames Ukraine for the attack. So, because of this, the relations between West and Russia may further strain, and in this unfortunate incident, 298 passengers lost their lives, and all of you are well aware, in eastern Ukraine, rebels are fighting. And there are news reports that rebels are supported by Russia, but Russia denies these allegations. But this Dutch safety report says actually the airspace over Ukraine could have been avoided because there were reports prior to that the airspace over Ukraine was not safe for flying. Right? Look into the next one. That is miscellaneous events. Science Express Climate Action Special was flagged off. This was flagged off by 3 union ministers, that is Suresh Prabhu, Javadekar, Environment Minister, Minister for Science and Technology Harshvardhan, and it was flagged off from Safdarjung station in Delhi, and it will travel more than 19,000 kilometers and it will cover 20 states and 64 locations. And this year's Science Express is basically about climate action, or you can say climate action special. This year's Science Express is climate action special, and out of the 16 coaches, 3 coaches are powered by solar panels, and main theme is threat of climate change. And school students can participate in Joy of Science laboratory in batches of 20, and this will conclude at Gandhinagar on May 4, 2016. So, over a period of 7 months, it will cover 64 locations across 20 states by travelling more than 19,000 kilometers, and this year's theme is threat of climate change and what is the action being taken by center and the state governments. Right friends, look at the next issue. Man Booker Prize 2015, Jamaican author wins the prize. This is the first time Jamaican author got this prize, and Jamaican author, the name is Marlon James. He got this award for his novel A Brief History of 7 Killings. Brief History of 7 Killings, and don't forget this Man Booker Foundation is based in United Kingdom, and the prize money is £50,000. There are 2 prizes, one is Man Booker Prize, other one is Man Booker International Prize. This Man Booker Prize carries a cash award of £50,000, and this Jamaican author got this, and the book is inspired by the attempted assassination of Bob Marley in the 1970s, right? He is from Jamaica but now lives in Minneapolis, United States of America, and his book is A Brief History of 7 Killings. And the other books, the Book of Night Woman is also written by him, including John Crow's Devil. And if you look at the shortlist for Man Booker Prize, these 6 books were shortlisted, out of which Indian origin Sanjeev Sahota's book The Year of the Runaways is one of them, and finally out of the 6 shortlisted books, this A Brief History of 7 Killings of the Jamaican author got this Man Booker Prize for the year 2015. Right? With this, let us conclude lecture part. Please do join for other modules, especially if you want more about this National Judicial Appointments Commission and what is the repercussion of the judgment given by the Supreme Court. Please listen to News Analysis program and have a nice day. Thank you.